Washington Irving's masterpiece, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, allows us to take a ride into one of America's most famous haunted landscapes. It's a place where ghost stories, a bitter rivalry, and one seriously terrifying chase created a legend that has lasted for centuries. First, we'll set the scene with the legend that haunts the area. Then, we'll meet the new guy in town, our ambitious schoolmaster. We'll get into his rivalry for a young woman's heart, crash a party, and then, of course, we'll experience that terrifying midnight chase and see what's left the morning after. The story begins in this kind of strange little valley tucked away on the Hudson River, a place called Sleepy Hollow. And this is not your average town. No, this place feels like it's under some kind of spell, like it's perpetually dreaming. Washington Irving describes the place as if the air itself is bewitched. This isn't just background scenery. This supernatural vibe actually gets into the heads of the people who live there, making them totally open to believing in ghosts, goblins, and all things that go bump in the night. Every haunted place needs a main attraction, right? Well, in Sleepy Hollow, the dominant spirit is the ghost of a Hessian soldier from the Revolutionary War. Story goes, his head was blown off by a cannonball, and now he rides through the valley searching for it. He's basically the commander-in-chief of all things spooky around here. And believe me, this isn't some secret ghost. Oh no, the Headless Horseman, as everyone calls him, is a local celebrity. He's the star of every ghost story told around the fire. The one figure who absolutely terrifies and fascinates everyone in the hollow. Okay, so into this mix of superstition and spookiness walks a total outsider, a man who's about to get tangled up in the town's biggest legend, the schoolmaster, Ichabod Crane. So meet our protagonist, Ichabod Crane. He's a teacher from Connecticut, and Irving gives us this fantastic, almost cartoonish description of him. He's super tall, super skinny, with long arms and legs. Let's just say he's a very memorable looking guy. Now, here's what's so funny about Ichabod. He is a walking contradiction. He is absolutely positively terrified of the dark, of ghosts, of, well, pretty much everything. But at the same time, he loves nothing more than to sit around and listen to spooky stories. And his only defense against evil spirits? Singing church hymns at the top of his lungs. Well, it doesn't take long for Ichabod's ambitions to grow beyond the classroom. Soon, he's got his eye on matters of the heart and of wealth, which puts him on a collision course with a local legend. He becomes totally smitten with Katrina Van Tassel. But here's the thing, it's not just her beauty he's after. He's maybe even more in love with the idea of inheriting her father's gigantic, wealthy farm. For Ichabod, Katrina is the key to a life of luxury. Of course, there's a catch. Ichabod's got some serious competition. He has to go up against Abraham Van Brunt, better known as Brom Bones. This guy is the town's hero. He's strong, he's loud, and he's famous for his pranks and amazing horse riding skills. And these two could not be more different. You've got Ichabod, the scholar, trying to win Katrina over with his smarts and his singing lessons. And then you've got Brom Bones, the jock, who relies on his muscles and his love of a good practical joke. That's the classic showdown, right? Brains versus brawn. Okay, so this whole rivalry, it's all about to come to a head at this one huge party hosted by Katrina's family. This is where it all goes down. Ichabod scores an invitation and he thinks, this is it. This is my moment. He borrows this old beat-up horse named Gunpowder and rides over to the party, totally convinced he's going to win Katrina's heart that night. As the night goes on, the atmosphere gets, well, spooky. Everyone gathers around to tell ghost stories. And who do you think is the star of every tale? You guessed it, the Headless Horseman. Brom Bones even chimes in with a story about his own supposed run-in with the ghost. You can just imagine what's swirling around in Ichabod's superstitious brain as he finally leaves the party and starts his long, dark, and very lonely ride home. He's already feeling pretty down. Whatever he and Katrina talked about, it clearly didn't go his way. He's riding through the absolute most haunted part of the woods when he sees it. A huge, dark figure on a horse, just following him silently. And then the chase is on. At first, this dark rider just matches his speed like a shadow. Then, Ichabod gets a good look and his heart stops. The rider has no head. Total panic. Ichabod kicks his horse, racing for the old church bridge, which is supposedly a safe zone. But just as he gets there, the ghost rises up and throws its severed head right at him. And bam! The impact knocks Ichabod clean off his horse. He tumbles into the dirt. And in that one violent moment, hit by that gruesome projectile, the schoolmaster is just gone. Fast forward to the next morning, and the whole town of Sleepy Hollow is in an uproar. Why? The schoolmaster has vanished into thin air. When people go out looking, all they find are these few weird clues. His horse, gunpowder, is just chilling, eating grass. The saddle is on the ground, all trampled, and right near Ichabod's hat, lying by the bridge, is a smashed pumpkin. Well, with Ichabod conveniently out of the way, guess who swoops in and marries Katrina? Yep, Brom Bones. And the story points out that whenever someone told the story of Ichabod's disappearance, Brom would just kind of laugh to himself, making you think he knew a whole lot more about it than he was letting on. But hold on, that's not the only story floating around. Years later, a rumor starts to circulate that Ichabod wasn't abducted by a ghost at all. Maybe he was just scared out of his wits, ran away from town in embarrassment, and started a whole new successful life for himself somewhere else. And that's where the story leaves us with this awesome lingering question. Was Ichabod Crane taken by a real phantom of the night? Or was he just the victim of the greatest prank ever pulled? The genius of the legend is we never really find out for sure. The mystery just hangs in the air, just like the horseman himself.